Are we back? Yes, we are. If you missed the intro, well, you can blame that on Instagram. Shalom to everybody. If you already caught the intro, I'm not going to do what I did before. I've already given praise to the Most High in 13, 17, 18 names most people didn't realize. I do realize that it's becoming very painful for the racist people up at Instagram and Facebook to allow me to continue to teach and preach on their racist platform. So they will continue to interrupt us. I'm pretty sure y'all gonna get sick of it one day. And when we all decide, every time I tell y'all that I'm leaving Instagram, I get an onslaught of people that say, don't go, don't go, don't go, like y'all won't follow me wherever I go. Peace to all of you all. Again, shalom to you this evening with facts over feelings on a Juneteenth 2020. Deuce 2020 is hindsight is 2020 vision. And I was about to start talking, and you notice they started messing with us when I was about to unpack the real reason that they had the Civil War. When I was about to start telling y'all the real reason because slavery was about to be expanded. Oh, they don't want y'all to know the real truth. You see, you thought they did a number on us for the first 200 and some odd years. They was about to do another number on us. And the problem with that was that you have to understand that the folks in the South did not want to expand slavery, but the folks up north wanted to expand slavery out west. They wanted to make not just the southern United States a slave holding, I don't want to call that name, place, but what they wanted to do was make the entire United States slave country. They wanted to, and see here, you got to remember something. When they invaded this continent and committed genocide against the folks that were already here, why do you think they killed all of them? Because they could not enslave them. So they went and found another group that they could enslave, because the people that it's like if I come to your house, kick down your door, smack your peoples around, rape the girls and women, ladies in the house, hell, rape the men too. Say everything in the house is mine. And then everyone who's born in your house, I never tell them that it's your house. I've killed you, destroyed you, erased all memories, took the pictures off the wall, did everything. And anybody, the babies that I made with you, I never tell them that this is their house. But you will fight back in your own crib. You know why? Because you know where everything is. You know every closet, every little nook, every little cranny. It's hard to fight somebody in their own house. So you can imagine these people had been here. Don't believe that stuff about, they were running around. That's why they killed all of them. So they can't tell you the story. They came in their house. Those people fought back, and they fought back hard. So think about it. If I go get somebody from somebody else's house who ain't never been in your house, bring them to your house, blindfold them, stop their ears up so they can't hear where they're going, drive them around in circles so they can't see where they at, and bring them to your house. And then say you're going to work in this house. You don't even know where you at. You don't even know, you have no idea where you are. So you do what you do. Y'all want to believe that those of us who are ADOS, all of us are descendants of the indigenous folks that fought to save their nation. No, they killed them. The same way down in the Caribbean. A lot of you all may be the remnants of the original inhabitants, but they killed most of them too. That's why they brought the Portuguese slave trade, went to the Caribbean first and worked its way up to America. That's why it was in the South. But what you don't know, and what they don't teach you, and y'all ain't got to get with this, because I'm pretty sure y'all done heard all of the brainwashing stories all day about slavery and how we're celebrating the fact that the Emancipation Proclamation got signed. And y'all all on that bullshit. Y'all out there celebrating, barbecuing, walking around with your fists in the air like you really got free on some shit when you haven't been freed yet. But you still haven't been taught the real reason that they had the Civil War. Oh, they gloss it over and tell you so that y'all wouldn't be slaves no more. That's what they tell you. What they don't tell you is this part right here. By 1860, there were more millionaires, all slaveholders, living in the lower Mississippi Valley than anywhere else in the United States. In that same year, the nearly 4 million American slaves were worth some 3.5 billion with a B dollars, making them the largest single financial asset in the entire U.S. economy, worth more than all the manufacturing and railroads combined. I think I just had to stop right there so that could sink in. Black folks, do you understand what I just said to you? By 1860, 150 some odd years ago, there were more millionaires in the lower Mississippi Valley. And y'all know Mississippi is the most racist state in existence. When I drive from, let's say, from Virginia to California, I may go through North Carolina. I might go through South Carolina, go through Georgia, go through Alabama. All those places, I'm going to stop and get some gas, and I might holler at my folks. But when I come to Mississippi, I gas up on one side of Mississippi and I don't stop. I take 20 all the way through that whole state because I know better than to stop there. I stop when I'm done, I am all the way in Louisiana. Anyone who's taking that drive knows you don't stop in Mississippi. And on top of that, every black person that I ever met from Mississippi, I'm talking back in the 80s and the 90s, that I ever met from Mississippi that came in the military with me, they were some of the most self-hating black folks I ever met in my life. They will go out their way to destroy another black person. I'm like, where did you come from? Mississippi. Well, I wonder why, like I just told you. By 1860, there were more millionaires, and they were all slave holders living in the lower Mississippi Valley than anywhere in the United States. Black folks, there was only 4 million of y'all, but you were worth 3.5 billion in 1860. Do the math and think about how much that would be today. You was worth more. This is what they mad about, for real, for real. They mad. Do your research. Don't sit here and listen to me. You know I do my study and I do my due diligence. See, I'm an intelligent brother with a photographic memory. I study my facts. I double check my facts. I do my due diligence. And if I can't find it on paper, I got to go check it out myself. Touch it, feel it, smell it, testify to it. 3.5 billion black folks. Now think about it. That was 4 million then. There's 50 million of y'all running around today. Okay? That's a lot of cheddar that they can't capitalize on. Oh, they mad. They big mad about that. Y'all was the biggest financial asset in the entire U.S. economy. So, of course, the war was rooted in these two expanding and competing economies, but competing over what? You have to ask yourself, what eventually tore asunder America's political culture? It was this expansion of slavery into the Western territories. That's what the war was really about. But they ain't going to teach you that in high school. They're not going to tell you that. Y'all don't understand that if I say that, that contradicts the idea of enslavement as being ancillary to American history. It makes it the foundation of American history. Okay? Y'all have to understand those numbers are simply mind bending. How many of y'all know, all my folks from South Click, South Carolina, almost 60% of all the blacks in South Carolina were enslaved. And beyond those numbers, you have to understand that you have to forget that humans, not abstract figures, were being enslaved. These ain't just numbers. Each one of these is a person that was enslaved. Y'all have to understand that. I mean, sometimes it just blows my mind. I used to, sometimes, I'm a black person, in case y'all haven't noticed. And one day I sat down and I looked at another black person. And I said to myself, I wonder what it would feel like to own another black person. Own them. Own whether they lived or died. Own whether they ate or starved. Own whether they had sex or not. Own whether they could marry or own them. Literally own them like I own my dog. Own them. I tried to picture that feeling. I'm not built like that. And I just was like, that's sick. It's very sick. Slavery was not about some sanitized form of forced labor, but first and foremost, it was a system of violence and assault on black bodies, on black families, black institutions. That all gets lost in this talk about economics and robbing people of their work. That robbery was accomplished by the destruction of a people. If you want to pick up a book that captures that, pick up a copy of Favola Glimpses Out of the House of Bondage and read it. Glimpse is specifically interested in, he wrote the book about the violence that allegedly mild slave mistresses visited upon their slaves, white women. But focusing on what people think of us in the mildest form of slavery reveals that slavery, listen to what I'm about to say here, enslavement is not violent sometimes, but itself is a form of violence. You stop and think about that. You enslave somebody, that's violent. Okay? It is violent. You know, Frederick Douglass said, if enslavement was essential, how come it all faded in 1860? Here's why. Frederick Douglass said, a man is worked on by what he works on. And for 250 years, Americans worked on the breaking of people for profit. Enslavement worked on them too. You can see its ghost all over American policy, especially in the realm of housing. So what I want you to understand, my folks, is that what you're celebrating today was nothing more than a cessation of the obvious violence that was committed against a people, enslaving those people. You understand what I'm saying? Some people will come back and say, well, what could be worse than that? Well, there's one thing that is worse than that, and that is if they didn't enslave you. And I taught y'all this once before. If you're not going to be enslaved, they're going to kill you. They're going to commit genocide against you. When I say that they're committing genocide against black people, people get in my DM and say, no, brother, no, they haven't committed genocide against them. What you talking about? I say, let me explain something to you and let me teach a little bit up in here on this Juneteenth. Surely genocide is a strong word for the maltreatment of black people in America. That's what some of y'all want to say. Y'all want to tell me, well, no, true genocide is something that happened in Nazi Germany or Armenia or Rwanda, not the United States of America. Really? You know, you don't need to look any further than the definition that's contained in, I think it's Article 2. Y'all help me, y'all keep me honest. Article 2 of the United Nations 1948 Geneva Convention on the Prevention and the Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. And it states, you see, when you're in the military, you got to remember this stuff in case you get taken prisoner of war. All my military folks holler at me. I just went a little further than that because since I had a top secret security clearance, they told me that I was more than likely going to be kidnapped and tortured and be a POW. So I had to keep this stuff up here. So if you don't know what the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and the Punishment of the Crime of Genocide says, this is what it says. Genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. It then goes on to describe the acts as killing, causing seriously bodily harm or mental harm, deliberately inflicting conditions calculated to bring about its physical destruction, in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births, or forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Now, I think all of that is happening to us. Has happened to us. It's still happening to us in the United States of America, KKK. We talk about charging the United States with this crime. And people get all excited like, yeah, that's what we do. But y'all don't realize this has been done before. The first case for charging the American government with the genocide of black Americans was actually brought by a group back in 1951. It was called the Civil Rights Congress. If you don't know, go and research the CRC. In the We Charge Genocide, the historic petition to the United Nations for relief from a crime of the United Nations against Negro people. They tried to file charges back in 1951. Soon as they did that, they got attacked They got accused of exaggerating racial inequality. And so they disbanded in 1956. Yeah, 5 years later, it was over. So all y'all who's sitting out here talking about, we should just go for reparations. We need to do this. We need to do that. Don't y'all know they're going to fight y'all to tooth and nail to the end? When your enemy is dug in like that? Okay. Now, in hindsight, when we look back, we find out that that charge has stood the test of time. Oh, but it's Juneteenth. You understand what I'm saying? Brian Stevenson, who is the founder of the Equal Justice Initiative, has documented over 4,400 racial terror lynchings so far. Well, I think we got a few more this week. He brought that historical evidence of genocide to life. He did an exhibit. If you ever seen the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, you can walk under that 800 steel columns. Y'all seen it, representing the Black Americans who was lynched. Well, I hope he left space on the wall because we got some more folks to put up there. So here's the problem with you folks here in the United States. Rather than facing this shadowy past, the case charging genocide, the case has only gotten stronger since the CRC brought their first case back in the 50s. You got Trayvon Martin. You got Philando Castile. You got Tamir Rice. You got Michael Brown, Stephen Clark. Oh, I just keep going. The daily news is filled with the documentation of black people being wrongfully killed by the police, of black lives treated as though they have no value, of lives extinguished without accountability, without justice. What the hell do you think that is? The evidence of genocide don't stop with outright murder. The mass incarceration of black people testifies to a prison industrial complex that uses black lives as fuel to feed its profits. Look, consider the generational harm of incarcerating black people. Let's just go for a second. Black people make up 13% of the population, but 27% of all arrests, 33% of those in jail and prison, and 42% of those on death row. We see genocide in the generation of black families has been economically and psychologically destroyed by a justice system that incarcerated poor blacks for things like using crack cocaine, while they slap the wrist of white professionals who use cocaine in its white powder form. We see the hypocrisy that continues today as they have the opioid use is deemed as an epidemic and disproportionate white users are treated as addicts. Oh, it's a health problem. We see the government that devises ways to profit from the legal marijuana industry while thousands of black Americans rot in prison for possessing or selling weed to support their families. Yet you don't think that we have genocide. We see it in the masses of black Americans who've been forced or coerced into felony convictions or plea deals that cost them the basic essentials of a successful life. You lose all kinds of rights. It's like that song, you know that song, Killing Us Softly? Think about it. Consider the cascade of the consequences that was going to follow you. I got people right now that want to come to the formation in Atlanta and in Vegas, and they got to deal with this felony situation. Okay? Trumped up felony convictions, plea deals that leave you unable to vote, unable to access housing, unable to hold a wide range of jobs from a nail tech to a child care worker, unable to purchase life insurance that makes you the walking dead, unable to purchase a firearm. This system is a form of genocide. So I don't want nobody to tell me, isn't it ironic that hundreds of thousands of black Americans are in prison for selling small amounts of drugs because prosecutors and judges maintain that they were poisoning the community? But when it comes to Flint, the whole goddamn community has been poisoned, yet not one official has been punished. Yet y'all think I'm crazy when I tell y'all that maybe, just maybe, we might want to pack our shit and get the fuck out of here. Somebody asked me, well, where we gonna go, Jay? Y'all always talking about we gonna go. Where we gonna go? You know what? Let me help y'all out because y'all don't read no more. And I hate to use this term. Somebody said they could put reparations right in front of your face. All they got to do is hide it in books, but y'all are missing because you don't read. You don't read no more. And don't nobody like a dummy and don't nobody like a dumb population. Most of y'all are not aware that after a lifetime of fighting for freedom, fighting for equality, fighting for justice on behalf of black Americans, the real NAACP founder, W.E. Du Bois, he moved to Ghana at the age of 93. The man fought his whole life trying to fix shit over here and finally said, the hell with it. He went to Ghana. He died in Ghana on the eve of the March on Washington in 1963. Yeah. Too many of you African Americans don't think that you can do that. But there are a lot of y'all that are doing it. There's a lot of African Americans that's following Dubois' footsteps. And they're leaving America. They're going to live in Ghana, over in Accra. Living while black in America became too difficult for them. They felt marginalized. They're facing daily inequalities. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yet it's interesting because when you go over to Ghana, and I've been, I had to go check it out last year. Y'all remember I went because I wanted to see if I do leave here, what is it going to look like? You understand what I'm saying? There's a project underway where you can actually go and permanently live in Ghana. They call you the repatriates instead of expatriates because they believe you're returning to your ancestral home. Yeah, you need to look up that program. But the story looks at the upside living in Ghana. You have to realize that lower cost of living, fresh food, tailor-made clothes. By the way, most of the clothes y'all see me wear on Facts Over Feelings come from Africa. They're made in either Nigeria or they're made in Ghana or they're made in Madagascar. Yes, my clothes are made in Africa. So when you see me wearing certain things, you go, oh, I like that. I like to get that. It comes from Africa. A country in Africa. Like I said before, the advantages when you move over to Ghana is you find out that, like I said, the cost of living is much lower. Fresh, real food, okay? Tailor-made clothes, and most of all, freedom to be unapologetically yourself. That's all we want. That's all we really want. But you got some challenges, though. You got the challenges including lack of job opportunities, less than modern healthcare system, and language barriers. But overall, Black Americans who've moved to Ghana say they feel a sense of freedom, not having to think about race, not one time. Okay? Here's where we come in, people. You hear what I just said? Lack of job opportunities? Move your business to Africa. When they say a less than modern healthcare system, all you Black doctors, nurses that's over here treating these old ex-slave owners, descendants, move your practice to Africa. Language barriers, all you teachers with all these master's degrees and so forth. Instead of trying to teach these little Neanderthal kids, move your skill and your practice to Africa. And then we won't have those problems. But some of y'all ain't trying to hear me. Y'all want to stay here. Okay. So if we stay here, I'm going to talk about this for a second because some of y'all are hard-headed. You got to be, kicking you is not working. So setting you on fire might work. I don't know. But I know one thing. If we go there, we can regroup. And if we go there, you might find out for real where you really came from, not by going to ancestry.com and swiping your credit card to find out how much slave master blood you got in them while they're stealing your DNA code so they can continue to try to keep their lives going. You might find out that you came from the Solemnistic dynasty, or you came from the 18th dynasty of Egypt, or you came from the Celtic dynasty, or the Kushite dynasty, or the Chagamir dynasty, or the Barca dynasty, or the Sefua dynasty, or the Almoravid dynasty, or the Kaluki dynasty, or the Sissi. You might find out that you came from. I know damn well I came from somebody because all the fire I got in me wasn't grown here in the United States. Those seeds came down through my generations. And now that they've been activated, you got people sitting around like, where the fuck you come from? I came from the motherland. That's where I came from. And I've awakened. So I need to go and find out who my people's is. But some of y'all, y'all just a little too comfortable. So you cannot even begin to conceive leaving this place. So let's deal with the issue at hand. If we stay, the first thing that has to change, we've all agreed on it, is policing must go away. It must not be reformed. It must go away. And a lot of y'all will sit there and say, well, if you get rid of the police, what are we going to do? See, that's a part of the brainwash. They got you so messed up, you don't even know how to protect yourself. They got you so dependent on them, you need to call them to settle your problems. They got you so afraid of taking care of your own self that if they say, we're not going to do for you no more. You're helpless. They're doing to you what we did to them when we were freed. No longer as slaves, no longer breaking our backs, no longer taking our blood, our bodies. When they couldn't do that no more, all of a sudden, we put them in the position. Y'all don't know this, but after slavery was over, if you needed a plumber, an electrician, a painter, a mechanic, or any of that stuff, it was a black person you had to call to come over to do it, and you had to pay them. Oh, they hated that shit. They hurry up and learn. Don't y'all ever pay attention to these commercials when they come on? They'll say some shit like, Stevens and Stevens Roofing. We've been around since 1867, right after slavery. Or they'll say something like, you know, we've been doing this for your family for so long. Come see us today. And then you go see these motherfuckers. They've been around since 1910. You'd be like, well, damn, did none of y'all exist before slavery? No, because they didn't have to. Remember, I taught y'all this the other night. The American dream was coming here, getting free land, free labor, and free money, and sitting on your ass and not doing nothing. You damn right, that'd be a dream for me too. But we was the dream. So on Juneteenth, at least they stopped doing shit to us, obviously. Now they doing it overtly. So the first thing we got to deal with is if we stay, policing has to go away. Then they said, well, what are we going to do? Have you ever heard of self-policing? If you look in the dictionary, the dictionary defines self-policing as a form of self-regulation in which you monitor your own adherence to legal, ethical, or safety standards instead of utilizing a government entity to monitor and enforce those standards. I'm going to say it to you again. Basically, what it is whatever laws are on the books, we enforce them ourselves. We decide when you've broken the law. We might even write a few of the laws. But the last thing we do is have an external source monitoring what we do and enforce. That's our problem today. It's an external source monitoring what we do incorrectly and then trying to enforce the laws incorrectly. That's why you ain't gonna let nobody come in your house and run your house. I ain't gonna come around your house and say, now everybody need to take a bath and go to bed. I'm gonna need you to go outside and cut the grass. Are you the wife? Come on with me. You ain't gonna let nobody come in your house and do nothing like that. But that's what you're doing under the current model of policing. Some of those same police officers that are shooting people, some of those same police officers that are choking people, some of those same police officers that are brutalizing people, they're not doing that in their neighborhood. They're doing it in your neighborhood. Okay? They know when they took the job that they coming down to your neighborhood. Otherwise, they ain't got no business being there. Think about it. Have you ever seen a police officer for real, that when the cops show up, you know somebody? You get what I'm saying? Somebody in the clique, you don't know none of these pale faces that show up. And they already show up ready to do something to you. Come on. You let the black police show up in the white neighborhood like that. It'll be a problem. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a problem because we did it in Brunswick. Did you forget? That's what happens when the black police show up. This has been weighing on me all day. I'm not frustrated with y'all. I love y'all to death. But this problem won't go away. And y'all won't go it away. You just keep dealing with it like a dysfunctional relationship. And then somebody says, they asked me this question, okay, Jay, if we go to self-policing, what are we going to do, run around and play detective? No, come on, y'all, stay with your boy for a minute. You see, the way that they do policing is reactive. Something happened, here they come, all misinformed, shooting up the joint, and then lying about it. That's not how you do it. You have to be proactive about it. You say, well, how in the hell do you do that? Exactly. Because what they're doing grew out of the slave patrol. What we would be doing grows out of concern for our community. The skills and the safety and the security professionals that would work in a self-policing environment would have to have three things. And I'm always telling you something, so make note. Number one, they have to have three disciplines. They have to have people safety. They have to have security and assets, and they have to have protecting people's money. Thus, your safety and security skills, in addition to your financial fraud prevention knowledge, are the key disciplines that you have to reduce your own neighborhood's crime. You got to know those things. You have to have people, y'all already exist. You already exist. You're just not working for your community. Look. Let me add another discipline to the mix that continues to create a stronger, proactive, deterrent approach to criminal events. Behavioral psychology. Y'all always hear them talk about mental health all the time. Oh, y'all just drove up and shot him. She said he was having an episode. If you're an expert in behavioral psychology, there's two common bonds that the traditional criminal thinks about the most. Criminals don't want to be seen or identified, and criminals don't want to attract attention to them while they're committing their criminal behavior. Okay, you bring in somebody who's an expert in behavioral psychology techniques in your self-policing standard on the premises. That creates a majority approach in deterring crimes because we're watching it. We're watching you. We understand the behavior. We can stop it before it starts. There's two types of deterrences that need to be identified to allow behavioral psychology techniques to work within your self-policing practice. You have to have visible deterrences and physical deterrences, okay? A visible deterrence is us patrolling the neighborhood. If you look out your door and you see brothers suited and booted, carrying machine guns, walking up and down the street to protect your neighborhood, you're going to be all right. And anybody who come in your neighborhood be like, ain't no going up in there. Them boys don't play. That's a visual deterrent. Okay. Psychological deterrents are something as small as a sign that says warning. You are entering a black self-police community. Enter at your own risk. And you say, okay, I'm going to enter. And then you enter. And the moment you step in, here them boys come. I'm not making up something for the future. I'm telling you what you can do right now. You can do this tonight. You can call 4 or 5 of your neighbors, get together and be sitting there talking about, what kind of hardware you got? Oh man, I got such and such and such. Who in here got a carry conceal? I got a carry conceal. You went to school for psychology, didn't you? Yeah, you went to school for mental health. All right, cool. You hand-to-hand combat, judo. All right, this is what we gonna do. You understand what I'm saying to you? I remember when I was a child in New York that they had the guardian angels. And the guardian angels helped out before the police got there. Had the red berets on with the little baseball shirts. And everybody loved them. And they weren't black or white. They was black, Puerto Rican, Italian, Sicilian, Dominican. You get what I'm saying? Spanish. They was everybody. So when the Irish police showed up, it was kind of like the Incredibles. Well, thank you. Thank you for helping out. Well, I'm just trying to do my part. Self-policing. The current model does not work anymore. I put money on this. If we move to a self-policing models, black shootings by police officers would reduce to 0. Y'all don't believe me because no brother is going to shoot another brother just because he don't like black people. Now he might get shot over some other shit, but he ain't gonna get shot for that. Ain't nobody gonna choke nobody out over selling cigarettes. Ain't no brother gonna show up in the black community self-policing and gonna shoot a child playing in the park with a damn toy gun. Ain't nobody, ain't no bruh, ain't no sister in the neighborhood she live in gonna run up on 6 kids and pull a gun on them because she gonna have to deal with 6 pairs of angry parents. Oh, did you notice I said parents and not parent? Yeah, it's because when we start self-policing, which puts the security wrapper around our community, we can start working on the other pieces that are broken in our community. I salute every single mother out there that has had to find herself in a situation where she has had to raise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many kids all by herself. I salute you. But the truth of the matter is up until the mid-70s, that wasn't the case. We didn't have that many single mothers like we have now. And men were not missing in the community like they are now because of incarceration, drug addiction, or jungle fever. Anything that took the man out of the house, that will be all over. Because if we build a wall around the black community, if we police our own, then people feel safe staying where they are. You understand what I'm saying to you? You always say that we're the only race that feels we're moving up by moving away. No. People move up and move away because they know that in order to have some nice shit, you got to make sure don't nobody break in your house and take it. You got to make sure don't nobody rob you when you go to mailbox to get your check because the economic conditions inside of our community are so decrepit that human nature forces us to want to survive by any means necessary. And because there's no law enforcement around, or there's no business influx around, or there's no black money around to lift up the neighborhood, those people prey on the only people that they can. You. Or the black police force will put an end to that shit real quick. Okay? Well, where we gonna get this force from, Jay? You already got the force in your neighborhood. You got gang members that are just as armed and organized as any police force. You got drug dealers that have empires that are just as organized and profiting off of you. You have the structures in place. It is the mentality that has to change. Not 2-3 people outside holding a cookout with a bunch of shirt on saying, remember so-and-so. I'm talking about a shift in the entire population, a mental shift that has to happen, and that needs to happen now. Y'all are out of time. We don't have time for no more marches. We don't have time for no more roundtable discussions. We don't have time to give no more interviews on what our perspective is on race relations. We are the victims of race relations. So we can tell you, you want to know what race relations look like? Just look at us. We don't have to talk about it like it's something we left. Stop trying to package it up nice and neatly and deal with the open ugliness of what it is. You grow up, you go to school like they told you to, you go to college like they told you to, and then you go and get yourself a nice job, and then you get yourself a house, and then you get yourself a man, and one night when you get home, you decide you're just tired from working, and you want to go to sleep, and you're sleeping up under your man, and everything is lovely, and the world is at peace, black woman, and all of a sudden some people are in your house, you don't know what's going on, your king get up and try to protect you, they shot him and they killed you, and then all of a sudden they say they had the wrong people. If we self-policed, none of that would have happened. So don't ask us about the conditions of race relations. Just look at us. We are the result of racial relations. Y'all sicken me with that attitude. Y'all hold on a second. I got to calm my ancestors down. So we have to have those deterrences available in this particular model. Putting up signs that you're entering into a dangerous area. They want to put cameras up to watch us. We'll take those cameras. We'll turn them on ourselves. Y'all want to put cameras on doorbells. We'll take those too. Y'all want to give the police all of these weapons of military grade. We'll take those too. Y'all want to hand out, we should be able to take advantage of the same programs that they're taking advantage of. We should be able to militarize the black police just like you militarize the white police. Nobody ever wants to say that. I don't care because you got a few black people working for you. You're the white police. I don't care if you put that token Negro up there to be the chief. You still the white police. I don't care what name you give yourself. The local police, state police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the CIA, the NSA, the kiss my ass police. You're still the white police. You can't police us no more. That's my word. You can't police us no more. You don't know how to police us no more. You can't handle us no more. You don't know how to handle us no more. And yeah, you walking up on getting busted in the ass by one of us. Oh, it's already starting. It's starting to bubble. But let me tell you something. And I'm speaking right now to all of you scary Negroes who keep sending. Look, don't send black people no more of these empty threats and warnings from white people. When they threaten us, you turn around and threaten their ass back. Ooh, the KKK said they gonna come in here and bomb everybody. Why the fuck you telling us that? What did you say to them? Did you go back and tell them, we'll be bombing y'all shortly? Bomb us, we bombing y'all. No, you coming over here, get your slave-minded ass up out of here. You're not NFAC material. Self-policing would be the start, y'all. So if we're gonna stay here, at least we can carve out a space where we can get ourselves together, where we can build something for ourselves. If the United States of America does not want to give us reparations, if the United States of America doesn't want to give us restitution, if the United States of America cannot get over the fact that you don't own us, you never will own us ever again. And I'm going to be honest, and I think this is going to be the most powerful thing I've ever said on Facts Over Feelings. You will never own us again. And if you try, we will try our best to kill every last one of you. And I mean that. You either give us space or you let my people go. You don't have a middle ground with us no more. Now, there's a whole lot of us that this don't apply to because they're not us anyway. They've been gone. They're just trapped in one of these, but they're not us. What's the girl's name? Candace Owens. See, she's one of them. She's not us. She ain't get no ticket. All y'all who trooped your ass upstairs to Trump right before he got elected, going up in the hotel. Y'all want me to call out some names? Steve Harvey. Y'all want me to call out some more names? All y'all who went to kiss his ass, y'all can't go with us. All of y'all that sat there when you saw what they were doing to us and you want to forgive them and you want us to pray for them and hug them. Don't y'all understand that psychological game that they played on people in Vietnam? You see, here's what you do. If they do something to you and we all get upset at them, what they do is they want to come over and act like we mad too. And they try to act like that's a lone wolf. They don't want you to be mad at the entire situation. They want you to be mad at the one person. And y'all fall for that shit over and over and over again. You just did it a couple of weeks ago. They use that same technique in Vietnam. Do you ever read? Before I go, and I'm not going to really be with y'all. This is my third session today, so you can imagine my spirit is tapped and I am tired. But I know if I don't come before you all on Facts Over Feelings, you all are going to feel like you're missing something and you need maximum support right now. So I'm going to read something to you. I'm going to go back to the ancient Egyptian texts and I'm going to share something with you. And then I'm going to leave you to this weekend. And I pray that we don't find ourselves Monday morning talking about another name. You may ask yourself, and I'm reading from the teachings of Elidor, if you're not familiar with Elidor. If you're not familiar with that, you have to understand that heaven and earth have been formed for a serious purpose, for a great and glorious end. Man is blind to them because of his small-mindedness. I speak of wonderful things while you answer me referring to miserable matters. I am a plain man. I claim no extraordinary powers beyond acquisition by any other. I am not a conjurer or sorcerer. My mission is to choose those who wish to serve the Supreme Spirit. I come from the silence of solitude. I am not a man gifted with eloquence. Did I come performing miracles? No, I did not. Did I do miracles so you could follow me? Not yet. I might have predicted a few things so you can see that I have vision of sight. But more than that, I need you to understand this here. Hear my voice. I condemn the slanderer. I condemn the talebearer, the hypocrite. They are the inheritors of darkness. Don't close your eyes to the truth, thinking that service through earthly skill and ability is enough. It is not. Many of you, and I'm reading, I want you to understand what I'm saying sounds like I'm saying it, but I'm reading you the words of our Egyptian ancestors. Many among you have come forward in a half-hearted manner and said, we have heard and we believe. We are followers of your teachings. And the day came when they were called upon to make sacrifices for their belief. And then there was a speedy sorting out. Some regarded their afflictions as chastisement from above. Yes, you do. Being still unable to understand the nature of suffering. I think the one thing that jumps out about this is where they talk about those of you that when you're very loud, you speak loudly, you're always talking about what you would do. You're always talking about what you believe in. You're always quick to stand up and issue a stance. You're quick to say what you ain't gonna do. But when it's time to do, when it's time to act out, you're the quietest. When it's time to sacrifice, you can't be found. When it's time to give your life, you're all the way in the back trying to save your white ass, your yellow ass, your lily ass, your black ass. And that, my folks, is my lesson for this evening on this Juneteenth, 2020. Do you hear me? Do you see me? Did you get the message? Or are you still stuck in the fact that you can't believe that you didn't have to tithe, that you didn't have to give an offering, that you didn't have to give a first fruits, that I'm not asking for a donation, that I don't want your undying admiration. Isn't it strange that you cannot pay to hear what I'm saying to you in this season? There are people who attempted to go to those places to get salvation, to find their breakthrough, and they left feeling dejected, confused, hurt, and not knowing any more than when they went in. Yet sitting here at home, under your quarantine, sitting there with your phone, sitting there on your flat screen, you are getting the truth fed to your soul, not to your ego, not to your sexuality, but to your soul. And you are beginning to say, you know what? I had just about given up hope. I thought that this was over and that we would just go out with the whimper. But now there's somebody speaking to me that I know it's not him I'm hearing. I am actually hearing Yahweh speak to him to my soul. And I hear you. I understand you. I have re-energized myself and I am ready to go. Y'all ready to go? I'm ready to go. Y'all know damn well if I tell y'all I'm leaving to go back to Africa, it's a whole lot of y'all already told me we are leaving with you. And whoever don't want to go, you keep your sorry ass right here and we will go sit on another shore and sit back and be like this. It's a damn shame what they doing to them people over there. I do say more tea, yes, more tea. We're gonna be just like that. Y'all want to stay here because you think it's gonna get better. Oh no, it's gonna get worse. Now I taught y'all earlier this morning that should we attempt to leave, that wall is to keep you here. If y'all attempt to leave, you ain't got no passport. I don't need no passport. I'm leaving. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's my message to you tonight on this Juneteenth, is that we ain't free yet, but the door is open for us to get free. So my question to y'all is real simple. What y'all gonna do? That's the same thing I said to the first members of the NFAC. What y'all gonna do? We got all of this shit. Y'all don't want to do nothing. Oh, there's an opportunity to do something. Here's your opportunity to do something. If you're an expert in education, if you're an expert in finance, if you're an expert in real estate, if you're an expert in law, if you're an expert in law enforcement, if you're an expert, if you're in any type of industry, whether it be mechanical, metalworking, if you're an expert in architecture, if you're an expert in design, if you're a poet, if you're a singer, if you are someone who is a creative arts master, all of you all need to be a part of this effort. Don't wait for somebody else to do the goddamn work and then think you can just come to the party. No, we got to build this together, which means we have to leave together. Get your black boots. Get your black pants. Get your black button-up shirt. Get your black mask. Get your rifle. Get your semi-automatic weapon. Get your shotgun. Get your licensed pistol. Get your bulletproof vest. Get your gas mask. And meet me in Atlanta, please, on July the 4th. I need you in formation. Meet me in Las Vegas. I need to see what we're working with, because I've heard a lot of y'all say this already before I go. I've given you the formula to build our own army. Only cost you $10. I've given you the formula of how to buy our own town. Only cost you 85 cents. These numbers are small. Guess what? They know that. They sitting back talking about, man, look at these simple ass black people. They too damn stupid to figure out that the money they got in their pocket, they could already buy their own nation. This shit is hilarious as hell. I'm gonna go out and choke one of these motherfuckers today. This is crazy. That's what they doing to you. I don't know about y'all. I can't be a part of this no more. So roll with us. Or I think about the Egyptians that the Hebrews that got left behind when they left Egypt. Remember that Egypt fell apart. They fell apart when the black folks left. Okay? You think that you staying here when we leave? Well, you hang on to that fantasy. And all of you all who thought that it wouldn't happen in your lifetime, oh yeah, it's happening in your lifetime. Because remember, we battle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. You are just a pawn on the chessboard. But you need to not want to be a pawn. You want to be a rook. You want to be a bishop. You want to be a knight. You want to be a king. You want to be a queen. You don't want to be the pawn. That's my word for y'all tonight. It's been good hanging out with y'all. I think I'm going to go get some much needed sleep on this Juneteenth, because I feel like I've been to the motherland, come back, and I'm still talking. And I'm not going to be talking much longer because I'm running out of things to tell you, because you already know what this is. In the meantime and in between time, for those of you all who've been trying to get into the website, and the website is Black, BLACK, NFAC.com. Black in fact, because we are in fact black folks. BLACK, If you go there right now, it's locked. You will see that you cannot get in. Everybody that's in, don't worry, you're locked on the inside. Everybody else, you're on the outside until we open it. Once we open it, then by members only, you can then gain access. That is the website that you can go to once we start accepting memberships again. Me, myself, I've had enough for one day. And I do have one question for somebody out there. Can somebody please tell me what y'all waiting on? Real talk. What y'all waiting on? Maybe I'm the only one that don't get it. I'm ready to fight. Y'all ain't ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. Y'all ready to fight? Or y'all want to keep standing around and running behind Black Lives Matter? Don't y'all see what's going on? White people are the ones protesting. White people. I was in the oldest neighborhood, black neighborhood in America, and I saw white people driving through with Black Lives Matter signs. I seen a video of a white girl in an all-white little town where no black people got no business walking around with a Black Lives Matter sign, and they picking on her. Yeah, it was fucked up, but that's not our thing. That's not our business. Y'all want to run out there to where they at to do what? No. Let the white girl come to the hood and carry the sign, and let them white folks come down there, and then you handle it. Stop taking the bait all the goddamn time. Stop being so goddamn gullible. Our salvation is already in your pocket. I'm going to see y'all again for the morning mental. And like I said before, if you have any questions about whether or not what you have is legal, please shoot me a DM so we can make sure that you're legal. I hope to meet all of you all face to face, or at least as close as they'll let me get to you, because you know it's going to be like Saddam Hussein when I come out. But I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope you learned something, and I hope that I see you all, if not now, I'll see you all in the afterlife, because this ain't over by a long shot. I am the official Grandmaster Jay. This is the original Facts Over Feelings. Forget all the imitators and haters out there. They just mad that God didn't choose them to be the sword of Yahweh. Y'all have